Guys, what's up? How are you doing today? So I'm glad to have you guys again one more time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being up to date on what we have on the table. So today we're going to this series 3 of what how to build a fintech app with what HTML, CSS, and what JavaScript. And I love to tell you guys that I really like the engagement I'm getting. At least I'm very grateful that you guys are following up and also learning one or two things. Yes, actually, there's also what I want to say is that but this is what a foot into the door for you to know how to what make use of these technologies to achieve something like this, to have full knowledge of this, and to be able to move from there to a greater height. Okay, so don't just learn it and what and make use of it to achieve something what greater. Are we there? Okay, so let's quickly what dive in. Now let's proceed. Now looking at what we have here, this is what we achieved last time, but we're going to add something else to this to actually spicing up the game. We're going to add what a registration and a what and a login section. You see that a registration and a login section on this our app so that we can be able to log in individual users seamlessly on what this app. Now this is our dashboard we are creating. There's still lots more to do on the dashboard, but for me not to take away the most important part of our project, which is what logging users in. Now you see that Virtuous is here and log out is here. We're going to make some adjustment to our code, but then don't worry. I'm going to what explain everything as what time goes on. Let's just take it one step what at a time. This is just what a half made what dashboard, but then we're going to link what a login so and a registration part so you can be able to log into this place, then we complete this code and what you have full knowledge of it. Okay, so guys, let's go right in. Now looking at what we have here, what do we have here now? And these are plain old code. Now let me just show you something. Okay, this is like what we are going to create today. Then the login to come to this our dashboard. Now we're going to add one more extra file to this set of code here, one more extra file. So we're going to come here, just click what to call it what login login.html. So this is what I call login HTML because it is our HTML document that will help us register new users and log them in. Okay guys, so now we are going to create what a login page whereby we register users and we log them into our dashboard. And this is our dashboard, which we are still going to add a few other things to complete it. But for this program, for this project to be what completed, you need to learn how to what create a user registration and user what a login page. Okay, so let's go right in. So we have already created our login file here. Now login.html. Now I'm going to create our boilerplate. Shift number 1, then tab to what create our boilerplate. Where we can put as we can change to login page. Okay, now once you've done that, now let's go direct to our code. Now because this is HTML, we want to link both our JavaScript and our CSS to this page. So what we're going to do, we'll come here first. Now we're also going to link our font awesome. So let's go link then dot slash. We'll choose our styling, then that's for the styling. Let's link the font awesome, link again, dot slash. We'll choose our font awesome, CSS, all.min.css. Now we have linked our CSS, guys. So okay, so guys, we need to create our JavaScript file before we can link it to this our page here. So what I'll do is that let's link in our JavaScript file before we can what? Let's create our JavaScript file before we can link it on our page. Now we'll just come down here. Now looking at this place now, we just click here and say what? You can say script or function. Let's just go with script or function. Any of them that goes, but let's just go with function. Function.js. Okay, function.js, you will hold all our functions together, our JavaScript what functions languages all together. Okay, so we'll go back to our login. Then in this place, say dot. Let me start again. For the script, I say src script src dot slash function.js. So guys, we have finally what linked our JavaScript to our what login page. We have also linked our font awesome to our what our login page. So everything is what beautifully what packaged. Now how do we preview this page to see our progress on this page? Don't worry, because an HTML page, we just right click, then we say open with what? Live server. I love this. So guys, see, it is plain, it is blank, nothing is showing, because you know why? We have not yet what? Started coding any stuff on it. So let's start building our building blocks on it. First, we start with some styling. First, we start with some structures, then build from there and forward. So looking at what we have here, because I want to make sure that you guys have detailed information. So I took down some notes so I can be following it step by step to make sure that you guys would fully understand what I'm trying to explain and not get what lost. I love you guys. So let's continue. So in the first piece we're going to look at, first we're going to what? We are going to first structure our code. Now I'm going to make what? A div. That div, I'm going to call it class what? Login and registration, login and registration, okay, container, login and registration what? Container. So this is our container. This will contain everything that we're going to do in this login and registration container, okay. So let's go on. Now apart from that, we're going to what? Have some subsections too. Now first we're going to what? Make our H1. Now name of your app, I just call my own goodie pay app. That's what I call it. Then let's go over to the next one. Then so we're going to what? Put a form whereby that form will hold both our what? Registration and our what? Login. Okay, so we're going to put a div dot form container. Okay, so I think here at this point we just comment it, form container. Okay, so now that being said, just right click, format what? Document. Okay, so now in this form container we're going to have two sections, registration and what? Login. So I'll put that two sections, registration section. Okay, registration section, registration section and what? Our login section. Okay, so that being said, now let's start filling up everything together. So now looking at what we have now, we're going to what? Create a div that will carry our return section and a div that carry out our login was section. So we're going to do it one step at a time. So for that we're going to put what? Div dot registration, div dot registration or register section. Okay, register section. Then in that register section we're going to what? We are going to like have a heading, a heading, um create account. Okay, so after that heading we are going to have some inputs. So the first input we are going to do, first input we are going to do the first input we are going to do, we are going to give it an ID of what? Register user, red username. Okay, registration username. Okay, so we're going to tap that out. Then we're going to also have what? A placeholder. Now what is a placeholder? Placeholder is just like, let's say for instance now, it's not going to affect what you type, but it's going to tell you what to type in that input. So input is just like one of the things we use in collecting what? Data from what? Users when they try to log into our page. So we're going to put also what? Username. Username will be here. Okay, username will be here. Okay, we're going to leave that as text. Now let's go over to, now we're going to go over to the next one. Now I'm going to put another input again. This will collect our password. Okay, so this one will be our password. We're going to put id user. Okay, registration password. Okay, now registration password, you're going to have a placeholder. So please don't cram any of these things, but try to what? Understand them as you what? As we flow on. Registration what? What? Password. Okay, now because we are dealing with password, look over here. We are going to change this one to what? Password. Yes, so you can have that password kind of input when you're working with it. Okay, so that being said, now let's tick on proceed now. Now we have gotten our what? Our input. We have put the input for username, I'll put the input for what password. Now let's create a button. That button will help us what submit our what registered infos like the username and what password that the user have choose to use to what register. So we're going to what create that now. So let's create the button now. So the button on its own we name am what register. Okay, so once you take a register, I'm going to put an on-click function. Now what's an on-click function? An on-click function is what JavaScript use, you understand, to trigger what a function by when we click on a button or so. So if we apply this on click function now, this like on click, then what's the name of that function that I want that button to perform? That's what we want to put inside this what registration what button over. So we're going to say register user. Okay, then we have to put what this parenthesis, you understand, to make the browser know that okay we are calling out a function. Now for this space, before we proceed, let us preview on our browser and see how it goes. Just Ctrl S. Okay, so guys, you see that now? Goodie Pay app, create account, username, password, and register. Now let us go over to what the next one, which is what the login. Actually, it's almost the same thing, but I will take my time to type it out so that you guys see how it goes. Then now, looking at over here now, we're going to create a div. Now to just save our time and to save your time, okay, we're going to do small change. Just copy everything that's like this now. Copy everything, just copy it. Okay, you come down to the login and you paste it. Okay, so once you've copied it and paste it, just come in, just put what login. Are you seeing that login section? Now this login section, on top of here, now we're going to paste it. We say what login. Login will be our what login will be our heading. Then under this place, under this text, we leave it as text, but here we change this one to what we change the ID to what login user. Login what username. Okay, then we're going to come in what to say leave it as username, then leave the password the type it is, then come to this place say what login password. Login what password. Okay, so that is how we do it for that. Then come to this on click, we change this what function. We change this function. What are we going to make the function? We say what login user. Login what login user. That will be our what our function name. Then this register, we change register to what login. Okay, so now after changing this register to what login, we're going to do something very very important again. Now because we want to make sure that when a user has created an account, he cannot create account again. Now when the user was successfully registers, we want to make sure that that user what receive a notification that okay you have successfully what registered. Are you there? So we're going to put what an empty message bar under here, directly what under our what login. Now it can be anything, but we're going to use our paragraph tag. Now we're going to put a comment and say what message section. Okay, now under this place now we're going to leave it empty. We'll just leave it empty, or you can just write here our status message will show. Okay, here our status message. So then we're going to what give this what paragraph and ID. So ID what the ID will be what message. Okay, now once we've done that now, the next thing we're going to do is what we're going to Ctrl S save. Now you see guys, we have automatically have our Goodie Pay app here. Everything we want is ready, everything we want is here, but then it is not looking like the way we want. So then we have to go down and what and style them. Let's go and what style it out. So coming to your style section, we'll just scroll down to the last ending place. Then what we'll start what styling our login page. So I don't want to create multiple style files. I just want us to work with the one that we have so that it will take us to where we're supposed to be. That we will more focus on how to build the app. Then later on I'll tell you guys how to split your code, whereby you don't have one file for everything. You're able to split your code in different ways and have you achieve the same great result. Are we there? Now let's proceed. Now looking at this place, I'll put a comment. I say what styling styling the login page. So this is very very simple part. We will not waste much time here, just a simple editing and we are good to what go. Now don't forget we already have what we already have something that I actually want it to look like, which is this. Okay, so at this point I'll just close this one, then I'll drag this one here. Okay, so this is what you are working on now and this is what you are looking at to work on. Are we there? Okay, so looking at this one now, what you have to do is this. What you have to go back to our our login. On our login, we have the whole mother container, which is what login and registration was container. We'll copy it. Are you guys with me? Now we'll go back to our style. Now we'll put dots, we'll paste it. Then here we're going to what determine, you understand, how our app is going to what behave. Yes, so but there's not going to be a problem for us because we are definitely going to what work through it and achieve a lot of things with it. Okay, so let's go over straightforward. Now we're going to say okay, let's do this. Now say display flex, display, sorry, display. We're going to what flex, Control S. So see now it makes everything like move one side, but don't worry. Now what we're going to do now there is what we're going to come down and say what flex direction column. So flex direction column, it brings everything under. What it does is that let me comment this flex column. Now this what display flex, it makes anything, any children that is under the parent to what go side by side. Okay, now me introducing it to what flex column regenerated that step and make them what stack on top of each other. So the first one will be on top while the second one will be what under it. Are we there? Okay, so let's proceed. Now at this point in time, I've gotten something powerful because we can now what style and move what ahead. Are you with me? Now we'll come down here, we'll say what, let's say justify content center. Okay, justify content center. Then now come down and say what, align items center. Okay, so now we have automatically what align our item center. Now goodie pay has what gone one side on top. Okay, so now let's just move over and continue. Now looking at this point now, I want to target this goodie pay and give it a color. So what I'm going to do is what I will highlight this stuff, copy it, paste it down there. Then I'll just come here, or I'll normally give it what a a name, a name. I'll just give it a class name and an ID, anything I want to be. I'll just say title. Okay, let's just name it as title. Okay, so it being the title now, what we're going to do here is this. I'll just delete this one that I'll have here. I say dot title. Now dot title now, this dot title that we have here, very very simple. Or I'll just change the color of the text. So I'll say color. Now the color I want. Now don't forget that in our previous class we what specified what a primary color and what a secondary color. So let's just go back down there and make use of it. So we say what the color should be what var var and what slash primary. So this is our primary color. Then I press Ctrl S. You see that now, guys. Goodie Pay has taken what the color of our what our primary color. You getting me? We maintain the brand recognition. So let's continue. Now after that's been done, let's go back to the next step. Now next step we're going to look at now is what working on our form. Now we have done this, let's work on our form here. So come back to this place now, go back to our what our login. Now discover that immediately after this place we have our what our form container. I'll go to our style. Okay, I'll go to our style now. Under our style, I'll say dot form container. Okay, I'll put what display. Now let's turn back to where we were working before. Now display flex. Okay, remember what I explained for you guys. It's going to separate them apart. Then I'm going to what bring them down. Flex 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 direction column. Okay, so it has bring them back down again under what? Each other. Are you seeing that, guys? So now once we've done that now, the next step we're going to do is what? Let's start working on the individual section, register and login. Now if you come to this login now, we'll copy this one, register section. Okay, we'll copy it, control C. Now these are all the things that are under the word register what section. Don't worry, we get used to it, we get used to them now. So I'll put this function here so that it's not disturb us. So now this is our style now. I'll bring it down here and say what? Now I'm going to go back to login. Now this register section, I think we should just make it an ID or so. Let's just make it an ID. Just make it an ID. Okay. Let's make it an ID. An ID. An ID. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now don't forget that when you are working with an ID, what happens? Can somebody tell me there? Okay, let me tell you. When you're working with an ID, what happens is that you're not going to make use of dot again. You're going to make use of what? Hash. 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 Okay, now on the register section now, what we're going to do here is this what? Let us give it a background color to see where our background, where to see how wide our what our login is, and let's start working on it. Okay, now background color, and I'll give it a primary color. So okay, I control S. So you see that, guys. Okay, now what we're going to do now here is what we're going to what introduce something, display flex. Okay, now don't worry about that. We'll automatically what input our what flex direction column. Okay, we are good, we are good, we are good, we are good, we are good. Okay, now we're going to come down here. Now we're going to say okay, let's put what a padding, a padding. Let me say 2 rem. Okay, okay, okay. Now we're going to come down. You're going to say let's apart from the padding, let's put what a gap. Let's say 1 rem. Okay, so apart from that one now, and before we proceed further, let us style our input and our button. Okay, let's style our input and our what and our button. Let's just style them. Let us see how they, let us style them. Let's see how they are. So this 2 rem I think is big, so I'll just let's say 1.5 or so. Okay, 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 okay. Let me just say 1. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, that's good, that's good. Then apart from that, now let's go over. Then what we're going to do here next, for us to be able to style our input and our login. So we're going to come down, we'll highlight everything like this. Okay, Control C, we'll bring it down, Control V, delete everything that is inside it. Delete everything that's inside it. Then under this section, we're going to what? Say what? Input. Input. So what we are doing that under the registration section, we are targeting our input for our registration what section. Okay, then after that is done, then let's start manipulating everything. So we're going to say at this point in time, we're going to say padding. Padding for the input, let's just say 1 rem. You see, it give us a very big padding. Okay, like let's just say 0.7. I think we're going to let's make it like 0.5. 0.5. Okay, that is good. Then now let's come over to our font size. Our font size, let's say okay, um 1.2 rem. Okay, is actually big, so let's just reduce this. Let's say okay, 1 rem. I think this is okay. Okay, yeah. So now then what we're gonna do now is what, because of we are working with our input, because I'm working with our input, let's do some testing on it. Now if you click on this user now, you see this black thing around it. Let's remove it. So we'll come here, we'll say what? Outline, outline, none. Okay, now if you click there now, you're not going to see that again. I guys see that? I guys see that? Now we're going to say okay, we'll say what? Border radius. Border radius, let's say 0.5 rem. Border radius 0.5 rem. You see that, guys? Now we're going to say what? Border. Our border, let's say our border will be none. we don't want any border for the inputs. So you see now, our input has no what borders again. Are you guys seeing that? Are you guys seeing that now? Our input has no what borders again. So there's no border now for the input. So let's go over to the next step. Now, before we move on to the next step, let us put our border radius on this section, so this can have a nice look on our create account section. So we're going to come here, we say what border radius. Border radius was, let's say, 0.5 rem. Okay, you see that now? See this tiny little curve? Yeah, I love that. I love that. You can say, okay, let's just say zero point 0.7. We can see that, see more of that. Okay, this is nice. I love that. Perfect, perfect. Now let's go back to the next step. Now, over the next step, now let us tell our button. Our button, we highlight, we copy the same stuff, we copy it, we copy it. Then what will come down, we we copy the same stuff, then we come down, we what paste it. Now, but what we do that, we delete everything that is inside there, delete everything that is inside there, then what we put our what button. Okay, now our button is there already. So now, but what we're going to do now, let us style our button and let us see how far we can get with it. Okay, now what we're going to do now, we'll say what padding, and for our button we put padding as 0.5 rem, 0.5 rem, 0.5 rem. Okay, yes. Now then we are going to say, okay, let us make the font size to be just 1 rem. Okay, it's a little bit big. Then that next one, we're going to say, okay, out border, we say what border none. Okay, then we're going to say what background color, we say gray. Okay, so this gray, that we're going to increase the gray a little bit, drag it down a little bit. Yes, the control S. Okay, this is that, guys. Then we'll now say font, then I say color. Our color should be what white. Okay, so our color is white. Now we're going to say font width, we say what bold. Okay, it's little bit bold. Let's say I will just let leave like that, it's okay sha. Then now let's go to what border radius. Border radius, you say what 0.5 rem. Okay, so that is nice. Now we want to put some like effect over this register button. Yes, then let's say for instance, if we hover over it, how does it behave? We can now highlight this same section all over again, Ctrl C, come under what, paste it. Then you say what our button, you say what just put what hover over there. Okay, then we delete everything, leaving our color, delete every other thing. Now this our gray now, we will increase the dark, we will increase it a little bit. Okay, let us be that when we hover over it, it's going to increase the darkness a little bit. So now we're going to press Ctrl S. Now this is now is like switching on like touch response. Then one more thing again we're going to do is what we're going to put what our cursor. Yeah, our cursor will be what pointer. So we press once you hover over it, see e change to hand somebody's pointer finger. Okay, now we have done for the only create account. Okay, this create account here, the title is, we have not colored it white. So what we're going to do now, what is what, let's not panic. Just copy this registration section, just copy it. Then you what, you go down, you paste it. Then you what say, then say heading. Now let's go over and see our heading. Let's see where that's okay. H2, okay. We'll copy it. We go back to our styling. We say what H2, H2. Then we say color. You say what white. You see that, guys? We have changed it now. Okay. So now this is just for the create action. How do you make the login also look like this? It's very simple. Don't stress it. It's very simple. And how do you achieve that? Let's continue. Now looking at this place now. Now looking at this place, what you're gonna do now was just go over, instead of what to start all over again for what start designing again for the login. This is for the what registration section. Just come by the side, put comma. Now go over back to our login. This is login section. Copy this because this is an ID. Just copy it. Come over to this place. Now put your what hashtag sign and paste. Okay. Now the moment you do Control S, what happens? You see, it automatically takes over and just takes over like that. So then we are going to just relax. We are going to what fix everything and to come back for perfectly fine and what and nice. Okay guys, let's continue. So now this place now, let's make some changes here. Okay, so now looking at what we have here now, I added what gap to our what form container. I also make the width what 80% of our form container. Then in our login, I copy the login function from here. I copy the login section from here. I copied it like this. I copied it and I pasted it here. Okay, I also attach my what my hashtag hashtag here. Okay, so that along with it, that's what goes with us ID. Now once you've done that, now let's proceed. So coming to this place now, looking down here to this our login, this our login session. We have not arranged our input. So coming down here now, go to this our input. Now this registration, this styling is for the input of our registration. So we want to also borrow the same styling for our login. So I'll just put comma, I'll put what hashtag, I'll paste our login session. Then when I press Control S, okay, this is that now. This takes the same shape of the okay. What I'll do also apply what also put what input here. Okay, also put input here. Okay, so that the both input will be what will be styled. Then I want to do something now. Whether my flex container I reduce it back to let's say one rem Control S, okay, so that this our status message can show down here. Okay, so once you done that now, which is very simple, and which what you have done, I can say 0.5 rem. Okay, now once you done that now, then you would scroll down. Then let's complete the remaining one. Then for the button, leave this one like this, put comma, put what hashtag, then paste your login, then put what button, Control S. You see that now our login button has taken the shape of this one register button. Now we will move over to the next one. We just come here, comma, hashtag, paste, then put what button over. Okay, then Control S. Okay, see now our button can what over like this. I see that guys. Okay, so now because of now, okay, let's just fill this one now. Then let's put h2 here, then hashtag, then what h2. Now I'll log in our create account. Now look what I like. But this here our message will show. I want to delete it out so that we will not see it. Only when we see it is when we what register a new user. Okay, we Control S. Now our code is ready to go. Now we are like done with the styling. Let's go to the functionality. Let's try create a user and let's try log in that user. Okay, so now we're going to go to our function. Under function now, which is our function.js, we have already linked it to our project. Let me show you. We have linked this one to our project already. Let's go to function.js. Now under function.js, what we're going to do here now is this. We are going to register our new user first before we log them in. Are you hearing me? Register our new user before we log them in. So let's proceed. Now for this function, we're going to register register user. Now I've put a comment. So let's proceed. Now we're going to create a function. That function, we'll call that function register user. Okay, then we'll call it out. Now let me tell you, in this project we are going to make use of local storage to store our user. Let me come again. We are going to make use of local storage to store our users. Are you getting me? So I will explain more of how local storage works and how we can make use of it to store our users. Now let's proceed. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create our constants. okay, our variable, call them out before we now make use of them. Now the first thing we're going to do here is now what we say what const username. Now JavaScript is type sensitive, so whatever you are typing, make sure that you are keeping note and track of them. Documents get elements by ID. So what the ID we are going to get first? We're going to get what user ID. Now user ID we are going to get what is what register user, register user, reg username. Okay, then after that we're going to get the value dot value dot trim. Now what this trim does, dot value does what trim. What the trim does, this trim helps us to what remove any white spaces from our code. Okay, now I'm going to leave that now. Now I'm going to go to the next one. Now I'm going to call out our what our const under variable again, const password. Okay, now const password equals to what document get document dot get element by ID. Now document get element by ID will target our password. Now our register dot password, our registration what password that the user was created. So we want to what get it. So after that we now say what dot value dot trim, dot value what dot trim. Okay, we'll cover that. Good. Now after we've done that, now next step what we're going to do now, we're going to what tap our message, that our message icon, that our message variable. We'll type it out. Okay, message say the same documents dot get elements by ID, document dot get element by ID. Okay, now that get element by ID what message. Okay, so guys, once you've done collecting your what your variables, next let's start working with our logic. Okay, now look at it now. We're going to say what if we don't have any username. Now if we don't have any username or no password, if we don't have any username or no password, let the system do something. Now what will system do? The message dot text content. The text content of our message will be what? Please fill all fields. No worry, we'll test them as we continue. Please fill all what fields. Okay, now that is what it shows us if there's no user or there's no what password. Then we'll talk about what message, then the style of the message, the styling. Now we're now working, we're now targeting our CSS. You see, JavaScript also what change the text content of an object and also what modify what the style of an object. That's what we are doing now. So what we'll say what color. Okay, now we'll say red. I want it to be what red. Okay, now in case there's no user and there's no what password. Are you guys with me? There's no user, there's no what password. Okay, there was return. Now this return is just for us to what know that we are putting a function. This return helps us to what make it valid. Now let's go back to the next logic. Let's say let the users that we create now be converted to JSON format. JSON format is the format that JavaScript use to understand data. Understand? Yes, that's what we can also use to communicate with what local storage. Now we'll pass this data now that we've gotten from the user, from our input to our local storage. Now dot get item. Now all this thing we are collecting from user is storing in our get item section in our local storage, and we're going to name that what as what user, just like a database. We're going to name it what users. Okay, now after that, okay, then let us say or we'll save just an empty what array. Okay, so or we'll save just an empty array, or we'll save just an like or what an empty array. Okay, so that is that now. Okay, so apart from that, now let's go over and say if users dot find, if users dot find, now we're going to do some little logic here. If users dot find, then u dot username, u dot username, okay, username, okay. Now this particular code tells us that now this is an if statement. So that if the users that we are find now, let JavaScript go in and find for the users, find the name that tally with what the exact what username, okay. That means we want to save the username in the what username section. That's what now this just now username, okay. Yeah, it's going to say now if JavaScript goes to search that name, now it's going to tell us that you're going to put out a message in our text contents, say tell us that the user is created, the username already exists. So nobody can create a username that is already existing again. Understand? It's one username and one account. Okay, so that is that. Now after that, now we want to print a what message. We print a message. That message what will have a style and the color of the text, it will be red. Okay, so that is that. Then now after that, we now what we place what our return. Okay, perfect. Now that is that. Now we have gotten a function that tell us that in case we try to register a user we have registered before, it tell us that the user already what exists. Okay, then we're going to do one more thing again. Now say for new users now, we push for new users now, we push their what their name. That means push means what add. We add their details onto the local storage for new what users. Okay, then it will what username, we put their what username, password. Now we're going to create a default balance. No worry, because we are just imitating a what a bank app. Now we just put a default balance of what 5,000 naira there. Okay, then what go over to the next line. We say what in our local storage now, we're going to do what dot set item, okay, to the users database that we have created already, user database. Now we'll convert it to what json dot stringify to string. We convert this whatever the user has put to what a string, and what assign it to a user as a what parameter. Okay, now I'm going to scroll back up. Okay, good. Okay, now for this section we're going to what say message dot. Now if everything goes well, you see message dot what text con ten t says what registration registration successful, you can now log in. Okay, so that is that. Then let's go over to the next one. Also that message also what will not be in red color again, it will be what in green color. It will be in green color this time around. To be what in green color this time around. Okay, so that guys. Okay, so let's go over to the next line. Say that document. Now we're going to what after you successfully was register a new user, we definitely what turn each value of what of the input to what nothing, to plain empty text. So document dot get element by ID, okay, register username, okay, dot value will be say empty, then what, document dot get element by ID, okay, say what, for our password too we'll say is what, empty, okay, dot value, as long as the user is finally what, registered, with the input will be what, value will be what, empty, okay. So guys, now we have, let's just format document. Now we have fully what, finished our registration what function. Now let's test to see what we've registered, what we've created is actually what's working the way we want it. So let's say for instance now I start with what, good man, okay, then I put a password 1 2 3 4 5 6, then I'll register, okay, okay, I will press, okay, I register, okay, they say what, fill all fields, let me create another new name again, okay, and hope, okay, just put a password, okay, our button is not clicking, so let's see where our error come from. Let's see where our error come from. Now at this point we have to what, debug, everybody say debug. I like debugging. Let's see where our error came from, okay, let's see where our error came from. Okay guys, I see where our error come from, yes. So now let's try some more time again. Hope, let's say Hopkins. Let's see. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now watch down here, guys. Wow, registration was successful. You can now log in. You see that, guys? So you have actually was created, it was a new user. Okay, so let us go pick up and and register that user. Okay, let's log in that user. So guys, now we have seen that we can create new users. Let's create another user again. Let's say Jota, brain Jota, brain Jota. Okay, let's create a password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Then register. You see that, guys? Registration was. If you refresh this thing now, and let's try registering that brain Jota again. You see that it give us error. Brain Jota 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now let's see now. This see username already what exists. This see that, guys. So now let us go and link our login so that our login can, let's link our login. So our login can take us to what, our dashboard. Okay, login can take us to our dashboard. Okay, at this point in time now we just scroll back up. Then what, we put a comment to say what, login. Now the login user will have a what, a function, a very simple function known as what, login user. Now this login user now, what it does is that we're going to take almost the same kind of we take before, the const variables, but then we'll use it in uniquely just to what, log in the user to our dashboard. So if the user is not registered properly, person cannot what, log in. Okay, let's proceed now. Okay, so we're going to say what, const username document document dot, okay, document dot get element by id. Document dot get element by id. Document dot get element by id will track the login. Now, if you go to our HTML, you see it here. We are targeting our login now. We are targeting our login section, our login username login, and the password login, and also the message that we're also targeting. So we are targeting three things now. So document the user what we say what login username, okay. After login username, then we're going to say what want to just pick the what value, okay, dot trim. Then what, so I can remove the, this one removes, helps us remove the what white spaces, okay. Const username, okay, I've already done username before. Let's do what password, okay, password, okay. Document dot get element by id, okay. So under the password, okay, let's create this document dot get element by id, document, okay, document get element by id. So what id are we looking at? I'm picking on the password what id, login password, okay. We'll pick the value, and the words and the trim. We'll pick the value and the word trim so that you don't have any white spaces, okay. So once we've done that, now let's go talk about, we'll pick the word message. We'll pick the word, we'll pick the message. So okay, under the message, say what document dot get element by id, you say message, okay. So once you pick all these three stuff, now the next step is for us to go immediately and what start logging in our users. So let's go, let's say what let user, now want to pick user from our JSON that is stored in our local storage dot pass. Now in this login also, we also be sending the data to what we also be sending the data to the what local storage. Now local storage will now what scan to see if there's any data that looks like what you are looking for. Then if there's any data that look like what you are looking for, it will now bring us back success and log in the user immediately. So documents dot get elements dot, now we're going to put what users, now users, okay. Now after that we'll say what, or if you put an empty what array, no worry, we'll still work on that, okay. So now I'm going to say what const user, now we still be users. Now we are not targeting that user that want to collect from local storage dot find users dot find, okay. Now find what, that thing that was specified, u dot username, u dot username, then we are taking both the password too, u dot password, okay, directly proportional to what password. So we are actually testing, now let me explain. We're actually testing, we are actually testing what the user, which is what directly proportional what, directly proportional to the what username, okay. Then we also were taking the password that is exactly what the password of that particular username, okay. Then once we've gotten successfully what we need, once we got successful, we now declare what a function. This is why I write them down so that I can able to what give you everything in detail without missing anything at all, okay guys. Okay, okay, so let's proceed. So at this point is now I'm going to say what if there is no user, if there is no user, my brother, if you have not created any user that have that particular detail, After particular detail, something will happen. The message box will print what? The message was in this text content. It was print invalid username or password. Okay, invalid username or what? Password. Okay, that's what it's going to show us. Then also going to turn the message towards red. Message color what? Message color what? Red. Okay. So now apart from that again, then we're going to what? Then we now what? Then we now return. We'll now return it. Okay. This return makes it functional. Then let's say for instance now, if we now have a user, if we actually have a user now, that local storage now that we have now, we will now what? Set item. So setting item now, we set our current username. Okay. Okay. Then we now say window dot location. Window dot location dot href. Now this href now is linking us where? So it's linking us back to our home, which is what? Index.html. HTML. It's linking us back to our index of what? HTML here. So let us save and let's see how it goes. So Ctrl S. Okay. Now we have somebody already. Hopkins. Hopkins. Hopkins is password 127 1234567. Now, if we say let's register Hopkins again, so user already was exist. So let us log it in. So now we'll come here, even though we refresh, it's still there. We'll say what? Hopkins. Okay. Then put the password that we created. 1234567. Now once you click on login now, okay, they say invalid username or password. Okay, let's see where our error comes from. Let's see where our error comes from. Error can come from anywhere. So let's see how error what where our error come from. Okay, 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 okay. Checking up my code to see if there's any error, to analyze it and to make sure we solve it. Okay, okay, okay. So let's write it again. Write again. Now what I'll do, I'll just create um a new user. So I'll test it with the new user. Okay, Ada, then one, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, register. Let's register. Let's see. Done successfully. Okay. They will come in now. They will put what? Ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's log in. Okay. We still have an issue with our login. So let's see where do we have an issue with the word log in. Okay, okay, okay. Now I see where the issue is coming from. See where this is coming from now. This is our JavaScript. We have not linked it to our what index.html. So let's link it now. So linking it now, we'll say what src dot slash function. Okay, dot slash function. Okay, I've saved it now. Now let's go. Let's just close this stuff. Now let us go back to our JavaScript. Oh guys, I see this is an error too. So just come here. Okay, we'll delete this. Now put a location. Okay. So let's press Ctrl S. Okay, so let's start afresh again. So we'll come back here. At least Toby is still fresh in our mind. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you say register, you say what user already exists. Okay, so let's go over to this place and let's log him in. Toby. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's log in. So guys, this is how you do it. It's finally, we have finally done our login and our registration in the comment section. So you can be able to share your ideas on what you've learned so far. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more so I can have more tips and learn more. Do have a nice time. Bye bye.